If you want to request a tutorial, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe with notifications, and tell me what character I should make next. Now, into the tutorial. Hey guys, Blop here, and today I'm going to show you how to make the hero, dark, or neutral Chow in this tutorial. Now, let's get into it. The materials you will need are blue, yellow, black, red, white, or blue fabric depending on which Chow you're making. You will need pink felt for the neutral Chow, red felt for the dark Chow, and white felt for the hero Chow. You will also need black Sharpie for the hero Chow, yellow Sharpie for the hero Chow, and a teal Sharpie for the eyes of the neutral and dark Chow. That is, if you don't embroider them. You will also need the body pattern, one of the head patterns, pins and needles, matching thread, white and blue embroidery thread, black instead of blue if you're making the hero Chow, along with scissors and a glue gun if you're going to glue on your eyes. First, cut out your head pattern, and then you will have all of these pieces. Make sure that for your second headpiece, you cut it in half down the middle where the darts are, like this. Make sure to cut off the stem for the back head pieces of your dark Chow, and you will leave it the same for the hero Chow. And now, first what you're going to do is sew up this top and bottom dart on the face. For the hero Chow, you'll do the bottom as normal and go up to here on the stem. And then for the dark Chow, you will sew the bottom dart as normal, then the top dart all the way to the point of the stem. This will be your result. Then you will repeat this for your back head pieces, but not stitching down the middle, only on the top and bottom darts, and you will not sew up the back edge or the bottom edge. Now you will have all of these pieces, and once you flip them right side out, they should look like this. Then place them on top of each other like this along their curved edges, and sew them together from their bottom points all the way up to the top, making sure to leave the bottom and top holes open. For the hero Chow, make sure that when you do this, you sew up the top of the stem where it forms a V shape, and you sew under the stem, leaving the holes on the edges of the stems open, along with the bottom hole. For the dark Chow, you're going to take the back headpiece and sew it on like you would the neutral Chow all the way up to where you reach the stem. You will then make sure that the middle seam at the top aligns with the middle of the stem, and then you can sew up the rest of the stem as normal. This is now what it will look like, and you may want to go ahead and already flip the dark Chow's stem inside out, as that's the most difficult part to flip. Now onto the ball of the neutral Chow. For this, you will take two pieces and stack them on top of each other and sew them together from the top all the way to the bottom corner. Repeat this for the other pair. Once you've done that, you can then stitch them together. And now you will place it into the head and stitch it in all the way around, making sure it should look like this. For the hero Chow's halo, just fold it in half and sew it along the long edge. And then, once you've done that, you can flip it right side out through either side. For the dark Chow's ball, you're either going to want a fuzzy fabric or a normal fabric. But if you use a flat fabric, you're going to want to sew in spikes to make it look spiky. But the fuzzy fabric already gives this illusion. You sew this up like a normal sphere along one edge for each pair. And then, once you've sewn up each pair, you're going to sew them together and create the ball. You can then set this to the side. I don't know where the footage went for this, but for the hero Chow's hair tips or head tips, all you're going to do is just take two of them, sew them together, flip them right side out, put them into the hole at the top of the antennas, and then sew them in. Sorry that there's no footage for this. I literally do not know where it went. Now, cut the body pattern out. You will see that pieces labeled as N are for the neutral Chow, labeled as H are for the hero Chow, and labeled as D are for the dark Chow. Then you will have all of these pieces. Make sure that the wings are made out of felt, as that will make them more stable, and that the Dark Chow's tail is made out of felt as well, but that the Hero and Neutral Chow are made out of fabric, because their tails will be 2 pieces. You can then also cut out this small triangle piece for the Dark Chow's tail that you're going to sew in around the tip. And now it should look like this. For the Hero and Neutral Chow's tails, what you're going to do is place them on top of each other and sew them together all the way around the curved edge, leaving this back edge open. For the Hero Chow, you're going to do the same thing as the Neutral Chow, all the way around the curved edge, but this time, you're going to leave this top edge open. Now flip them right side out and stuff them, and they will look like this. Now all your tails are done and you can set them to the side. For the arms, what you're going to do is place 2 pieces on top of each other and sew them together along the top and bottom edges. This is what it will look like when it's inside out and sewn up. Now you're going to take your hands and sew up the 2 darts, making sure to mirror them for each piece. You'll repeat this for all 4 hand pieces and they will look like this afterwards. You can then sew them together where the darts align and they'll look like this. Now you're going to flip them right side out so then you can stuff them into the arm. Once the hands look like this, stuff them into the arm and sew them in, so then once they're flipped right side out and stuffed, they're going to look like this. Now set the finished arms to the side. For the foot of the Chow, what you're going to do is place 2 pieces on top of each other and sew up this top edge, but you're going to leave a hole open near the top for the side pieces to sew into the body. This is going to be your result. Now, aligning the corners of the side edges, place them on top of the bottom foot piece like this, and then sew them in all the way around. This will now be your result. You can flip your foot right side out to see if it looks like this, but you will need to flip it back to being inside out. Now take 2 side toe pieces and sew them together along this top edge around the halfway point. Then they will look like this. And once you have this, you're going to place it on top of this bottom toe piece on the curved edge and stitch it in. Then this is the result. And just like the hands, you will flip it right side out and stuff it into the open hole of the foot. Once it's in there, you're going to sew it in all the way around, making sure that the seams align. And then this is the result, and you can flip it right side out through this hole you left. The right side out foot will now look like this, making sure that your hole is still open. Now take 2 body pieces stacked on top of each other and sew them along this flat edge. For the other pair of these body pieces, you're going to want to include the wings and tail on the side, so that when you sew it in, the tail and wings are also sewn in. For the Dark Chow, you want to create 2 small slits in the back of each body piece, so then whenever you sew in the tail, it will be sewn in flat instead of from the side. All of the sewn up bodies will now look like this. Now fold the seam in your foot to where it forms a V shape like this, and then you will take that back of the V and sew it into the bottom corner of the back piece, making sure that the seam in the middle of the V is aligned with the bottom corner of the body. Once they're sewn in, it should look like this. Now you will repeat this for the front body piece too, but you will notice this hole at the bottom. You will then want to flip it back inside out to where the seams are visible and stitch it up, making sure to leave the footholds open, and then it will look like this. Now flip it back to where everything's on the inside and the seams are visible. You will then take your arms and place them along the edge of the body like this. Once they're in, you're going to take the other body piece and squish it on top, sewing the arm in. So then once it's flipped right side out, it points straight up. Once you've sewn in the arms, flip your bodies right side out and they will look like this. Now what you're going to do is take your bodies and stuff them into this hole in the head, making sure that the tail and wings are facing this hole in the back of the head. Now you will have this. Make sure that the front seam of the body is aligned with the front dart of the face and that the back seam is aligned with the back of the head seam. Make sure that the side seams are also aligned. You will then sew all those seams together, and then once those seams are sewn together, you will sew the body into the head all the way around. Now that the body is sewn in, you're then going to want to flip it inside out through the back hole in the back of the head. Then you can stuff it, and this is what your plushies will look like. For the hero Chow, you're going to want to push in the antennas and then ladder stitch them down, since the pattern makes them longer than they should be. You can then take your halo and place it on top, sewing each side of the halo into each antenna, so then it looks like it's floating on them. For the dark Chow, you're going to take the ball and sew it into the back edge of its antenna. For the neutral Chow's ball, what you're going to want to do is do a running stitch all the way around the ball, in the middle area of it. And then, once you've completed the running stitch all the way around, pull tightly and it should form the ball. You may also want to color on yellow on the stomach and wings of the hero Chow, but be careful as this can stain the plush and other things. You're also going to want to cut out a crest for the dark Chow and glue or sew it on. You can also embroider this in. You may also notice that the feet of your Chow look a bit strange, but that's because you're going to take them and ladder stitch them into the body. But this also allows for posability. You can either sew it into the body, like it's running, or as if it's sitting. The finished feet will now look like this. You can then take your arms and sew them any way you like. You could take them and sew them together in the middle of the body, making it with their hands in the front. Or you could sew his arm down to the side, or any other way you'd like. Now that you have that, you can then sew in or glue on your faces. You will embroider the mouth with 2 stitches, or sew in or glue on your eyes. Then once you've done that, your plushies are finished. If you made this plush or are planning to, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe with notifications, and tell me what character I should make next. Sorry if this tutorial comes out a little late, and sorry to the Discord for not getting early access for this. I was losing motivation on this, but hey, got it out. That's all that matters. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.